Thank you to Mind Your Own Marriage for sponsoring this video. They are a clothing and apparel brand. Please check the description box for links to their website and for my discount code, which will give you 15% off until November 27th.
Cheek, right cheek. Please don't get me hype. I'm hype. Left cheek, right cheek. Write my name in ice. Real ass, real ass, real ass, real ass. Got this shit from Tina. I'm a savage.
Hey beauties, it's Nikea here. As you can see, I have my wonderful husband EJ with me. I'm introducing him because he never introduced himself because he thinks that y'all already
know me.
Who he is.
Oh, but you know, we've had a lot of subscribers in the last, 3 months. So my name's EJ. I'm EJ. I'm Nikea's boyfriend, fiance, husband, all of that. Father of her kid, Father Ernest. Shout out to Reagan, gang, gang, gang.
Papa Daddy.
Papa Daddy, yeah. I got a whole bunch of names, but that's me.
Thank you for tuning into this video. As you can tell by the title, we are going to be discussing our first year of marriage. We have been married for 1 year now and a few days. So we're just going to share with you what we've learned. But before we get into this video, if you haven't already, take one quick second, go down below, click that subscribe button. Once you do that, that bell notification button is going to pop up. Click that so that you never miss an upload.
Join the club.
So we just wrote down I wrote down a few bullet points for our marriage. Disclaimer, we are not counselors, we're not licensed psychiatrists, therapists, psychologists.
None of that.
We're just sharing our personal experience and hopefully, right, if y'all can't see Mind Your Own Marriage, it will help you out. And we'll be talking about these shirts and this phrase in the video as well. All right, so the first one I wrote down was downsizing and moving to Virginia, living with 2 other families.
You heard that right. 2 other families.
Yeah, so I've talked about this plenty of times on my video about how we moved from North Carolina to Virginia. We live with my parents and my brother,
and he has 3 kids
and a wife. And we have 2 dogs.
Yeah, Tiki and Sadie.
So I don't know if you want to share your story on why we decided to move in your perspective and how you feel about our current living situation.
So it was, 2019. The winter time. Nah, so seriously, what happened was we were talking about getting married. Well, we weren't talking about it, we were already engaged, but we were planning the wedding. And we were already thinking about like what our next steps would be in terms of like buying a house, saving money, trying to combine finances and all of those things. And so when I first said it, I don't know where I got the idea from. I was like, man, you know what? We should move back in. Well, move in with your parents.
Thought he was joking.
And so yeah, Nikea thought I was joking, but we were just at a place where, again, we were trying to save money, trying to have a good start to our marriage and not be in a whole bunch of debt, trying to plan a wedding and do all of those things.
Full transparency for me, I was working as an adjunct professor at North Carolina A&T. And if you're adjunct, you know how much you get paid.
Right.
And I was also working part-time, full-time at Chipotle for a little more than minimum wage.
Right. So she was out of the house a lot. I mean, I worked 8:30 to 4, or 8:30 to 5. But, it was just, yeah, I drove 45 minutes to an hour to work, which I still do. Well, not now, I work from home, but I used to do that. But I just thought that in terms of saving money, as some of you all know, Nikea has a master's degree, and I just wasn't comfortable with our situation. You go to school all of these years and you think that you're about to get a nice paying job, and Nikea liked what she was doing, or she loved her job as an adjunct, and has aspirations to, further her education and be a professor and all of those types of things. But for our current situation, we just weren't being our best selves. Or I didn't think we were living up to our best standards. And so I thought moving in with her dad would be a great idea.
Financially, it was a great idea.
Yes, financially, it has proven to be one of the best ideas, one of the best sacrifices that we've ever made. It's allowed us to do a lot of different things during quarantine. Even before quarantine, we were able to do some things. We were, vacations and a nice Christmas and all of those types of things. So it's allowed us to travel and do all of those types of things. And it's allowed us to have a nice savings and diversify our portfolio in other ways. And so that part has been amazing.
Yeah.
But it's the growing pains. I was telling Nikea this maybe a week ago. You know, we live, so it's us who are 1 year, newlyweds. Her brother's been married for like 7 or 8 years. And then her parents have been married like over 30 years.
Coming up on 32.
And so we live, just all of that, taking all of that to an account, it's a lot of personality, it's a lot of people, it's a lot of different rules, and a lot of different ways that people just run their household. Yes. You know? For a long time, it was just her brother's family living there. And so they were used to doing things a certain way.
And my dad.
I understand that. Oh, maybe they didn't. What I meant by her brother's family, her dad has always lived there, of course, but her brother's family was the only family that was there, you know, and her dad commutes a lot. He's always at work. So her brother's family was allowed to just basically have the house to themselves. Now that everybody is back, you know, we're there, her mom is there, dad, dogs, kids, Miss Rona. All of these people.
Rona's not in our house.
Yeah, she don't live there, but the side effects of Miss Rona, the aftermath of Miss Rona is there. And so it's been tough, you know. I don't know any other way to say it than it's been tough. You know, one piece, and I shared this with Nikea, is that because there's so many people there, you know, I have an 11-year-old. And so we have to make special trips down to North Carolina often because there's no space for her to come where we are currently. Well, comfortable space, right? She can sleep on the couch, but she wouldn't have privacy. And then we're also renovating the house. So it's 10 people in the midst of Miss Rona and the midst of a renovation. And so it's just a lot going on in the house. But like I've said time and time again, I'm grateful for the opportunity. I'm grateful for her parents allowing us to come because it has allowed us to save a great deal of money and do some things and move in some ways that we might not have been able to do if we would have stayed in our current situation.
Yeah, and I will also, I guess I'll mention some of the negative side effects. You know, we're living with 3 other families. You have all these different rules and different dynamics, and sometimes that impacts us and like how you feel emotionally. And like, I'm the type of person, I believe in vibes and moods and you know, the atmosphere and, you know, spirits and stuff like that. So it takes a lot of meditation, praying.
You said spirits. I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah, spirits, you know, vibe, mood, spirit, you know. But yeah, there's a lot of things, so you have to, and I feel like I personally, but we as a couple have had to fight against those things as well. You know, not to say anything negative about anybody else's marriage or relationship, but you know, what other people do in your environment will affect you. So we have to work with building our relationship and also, you know, fighting against some other moods, vibes, spirits that may try to come against us.
Side note, so we started watching Family Matters. Well, I started watching it, but of course Nikea's around, so she watched a couple episodes too. But I don't know if you all knew this, that they had like 8 to 9 people living in their house as well. So I told Nikea.
It's basically kind of 3 families because Mother, Carl, and Rachel.
So I told Nikea that like we should find somebody, some producer, to come and basically invite cameras into our house. We could be like the Kardashians.
Real life family matters.
Yeah, real life family matters. So MTV, if you're watching.
Copyright. Next thing, I mentioned this in some of my videos, and when I told EJ about this, like, you talked about this a lot, but I didn't really talk about how it like affected our relationship or how it affected you. So I wrote pandemic, and that brought on death, job loss, and mental health.
The first thing, the pandemic. So I don't know if y'all thought this, but I really thought this was gonna be like a 2-week thing. I thought by the end of March we would have been through all of this and we would have been back to normal. Everybody would have been working and doing all of those types of things.
That was if Obama was in office.
Yeah, so we're in month 7 of this pandemic, and it's proven to still be a big issue in politics everywhere. So I don't know what the issue is, but beyond that, like Nikea said, you know, she's lost a lot of family members in this time, and I lost some people, not family members, but like I lost a student right at the beginning of the pandemic, not related to the pandemic, but I lost a student right at the beginning, and then I lost an old co-worker like a couple weeks after that.
No, we found out the day of the funeral.
Was it?
Yes.
I can't remember.
We were pulling up to the restaurant.
Those were 2 deaths back to back. And then, as you all know, if y'all have been watching Nikea's channel, her grandmother and her uncle both passed away within like a month of each other, maybe 3 weeks. I told Nikea last week that I think that it was by divine intervention that we were at her parents' house when all of this happened. Because Nikea is really, really close to her, well, was very close to her grandmother, and she would like to say she's the favorite. But I've heard everybody say that after I've met some of her family members, so I don't know who the favorite is. But that's what Nikea. Now, I will say this, and I haven't screenshot, or not even screenshot, it's in my messages. Her uncle did say that Nikea was the favorite, and then he said, by proxy, that makes me his favorite nephew.
You heard it here first, people.
So he did say that. You know, I'm not making that up. I'll put, if Nikea's okay, we can put the screenshot.
Yes, oh yes, we need receipts, please, let them know.
So yeah, so he did say that. But anywho, I don't do well with death, and so I don't know that mentally I would have been able to handle Nikea's grieving process. You know, it's hard to lose one family member and then not being able to be there during transition because of COVID and things like that, and now you're trying to recollect, like, when was the last time I saw this person? When were the last things I said to these people? And so yeah, I think losing a person under normal circumstances is very difficult, but when you add on COVID, I think it just takes it to a whole nother level. And so yeah, I'm grateful that we were able to be in the house with your parents and your brother's family during that time, because it could have taken a toll on our relationship. Yeah. You know, Nikea was in the funk, man. She was, I mean, we both were. I don't want to just put it all on her.
No, we're talking about death. So
at the beginning of the pandemic, though, like, we were drinking every day. We were staying up till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, watching TV, watching shows and stuff like that. Play video games. Like, we were really doing a lot of stuff. But then when all of the stuff was starting to happen with her family, you know, Nikea went to a place where she was trying to stay active and trying to stay creative and, you know, recording content, and she went through a phase where she was coloring a lot. I was very unstable.
I will say that my mood just changed and shifted, because like at one point I was sleeping in.
I remember that.
I wouldn't get up, and then I had set an alarm so I could start getting up, and sometimes I would just go do stuff and not tell anybody.
Yeah.
You know, one day I was washing dishes and I just started crying. I'm trying not to cry right now as we record, so.
Yeah.
EJ was my rock.
Yeah, I'm pretty even keeled though. You know, I've had Nikea's situation happen before, but I've been there, and so now I guess I've become callous to it. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. I'm just saying that's where I am in my journey. So judge your mother. All right, what's next on the list? Oh, job loss. We didn't talk about a job loss.
Oh yeah, I don't know how you feel about that.
I really, again, being at her parents' house has cushioned that blow. Like, we've been able to save money and do a lot of things. Like, we still live like we don't have any money, but we do pretty okay for ourselves. You know, God has been good. He's still in the blessing business.
Hallelujah.
But I think that the job loss didn't affect me, because I told Nikea, even before she lost the job, that I don't want her to work anywhere that is going to disrupt her peace. And I felt like that job just wasn't good. Like, Nikea liked the job and she liked the students. You know, she always wanted to work with high school, well, not always, but that was a student population that she wanted to work with. And then she got the opportunity, and then it was just administration and co-workers and a lot of backbiting and tattletelling. And so I wanted her to be at a place where she didn't have to deal with that. And so, I mean, I'm not gonna say quit your job, because I ain't balling like that yet. So I'm not like, oh, quit your job, stay at home, you know, do all of that, but God knows best.
It was hard for me because this is the first time in our entire relationship, we've been together for 5 years, that I did not have employment or was bringing in income. Like, I've never had gaps. Like, I would leave a teaching job and then I would get another one, so I always had a paycheck coming. So it was hard for me, just like, because I'm used to being like, all right, I'm gonna go buy groceries, or I'm gonna go pay this bill, and now I feel like I have to be like, hey EJ, I need to do this, and that's a struggle for me in our relationship, is like with finances, like sharing my finances. Like, I share my money with him, but I don't want to have to share every detail with him. That's something that I'm working on. I'm struggling, but I'm working on it. It's hard. It's hard.
I don't know why.
I don't know either. I don't know.
It's just money. Try to tell her that all the time. I'll be like, oh, how much money you got? Oh, just always assume I'm broke.
No, I ain't just joking. I get that from Dave.
Yeah.
And you. But next job I get, we gonna have a joint account and I'll direct deposit it into that account so EJ can see everything.
Yeah, I think it's just, in terms of a marriage, I think it just helps things work smoothly because we both know where each other stand. Like, say we need to go grocery shopping, I don't have to say, oh, let's go grocery shopping. I can just go grocery shopping and it just be that. Like, I don't have, because when it's just my money, then I gotta budget it out of my money to go grocery shopping. Or, you know, say we gotta get the taxes or something paid on the car. Like, those are all things that I have to budget out and allocate for. And we do that already, but it's like double work because we're trying to allocate it out of 2 accounts.
Yeah.
Versus if it's just 1 account, it's like, hey, you know, we got this line item of $1,000 set aside for whatever, and we can move on from there.
That's just my thing. I don't like anybody else having control over my money. I don't know where that comes from. That's just but I'm gonna say here on video.
Hold her accountable.
Next time I have steady income, it's gonna be direct deposited to a joint account.
Yeah.
So I can get rid of this thing.
That's
I don't
all
want that to be an issue.
That's all we need y'all to go. Subscribe, like, comment, share, because we need them coins. You know what I'm saying? They share it with everybody. The whole family reunion. Get everybody together and share it. That's my PSA. My name's EJ McDuffie, and I approve this message. Inspiration collection.
Gang.
Was that my idea or yours?
Yours. We started it the day my grandmother died. I remember we did the Issa Rae photo.
Oh, okay.
From Essence.
So maybe that was my way. I really don't remember that. Nikea, that's the second time you said it though. We started it on that day. Maybe that was my way of keeping Nikea busy so she would have something to do and kind of keep her mind off of stuff that was going on in her everyday life. The inspiration collection was something that we did for like 30 days straight. So if you haven't seen it, you can go to Nikea's YouTube, go to her Instagram, or you can go to my Instagram. It's EJ McDuffie Photography. But like I said, it's something that we did for 30 days. And so every day Nikea, we would get up in the morning and be like, all right, which photo are we doing today? And we had like some backpile stuff that we were like keeping in our saved places. People had started sending us stuff.
Yeah.
And so we'd be like, okay, cool, let's do this one today. Nikea be like, all right, let me look at the makeup. And let me see if I got an outfit. And people really enjoyed the inspiration collection. Yeah. I feel like it brought us together. We always work together on a lot of different projects and stuff, but it was one more thing that allowed us to work together.
Right.
And she got to do something that she really liked to do, and I got to do something that I enjoy doing. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I remember EJ had mentioned it maybe weeks prior. And he was like, I haven't taken photos in such a long time. And he wanted to stay in practice because, you know, this was during the quote unquote heavy part of COVID. And I don't think anybody was doing photo shoots. People weren't really venturing out like that.
Not at all.
So he wasn't practicing. So he said he didn't want to lose that skill. And I don't know why we started it on that particular day. It just so happened. I think I reminded him, I was like, hey, remember you wanted to do this? Let's do it. Because
I was going to work with another model to do that picture, like, I don't know, maybe the end of last year.
That was an older cover from Essence.
Yeah, then it just never happened. And so I had all of this stuff that I'm like, because as a photographer, I don't know if other photographers do this or other creatives, like you like stuff from other styles or stuff that you don't normally shoot. And so that was outside of my wheelhouse. I don't normally work with models. I normally work with everyday people. You know, it was an opportunity to do something different.
So I think the whole goal of that was to work together, and we did everything free. Like, I didn't go buy any makeup. You know, I was like, oh, I can go buy this, EJ, for this picture. He's like, no, what do we have on hand that we can use? It's
an inspiration collection. It don't have to be spot on. So yeah, we didn't spend a dime on anything. Everything we already had, or she borrowed it from like her mom's closet or somewhere like that. If you want to see those pictures, it's at EJ McDuffie Photography. Ding ding.
Or at Nikea JaLynn.
Ding ding. And we actually, somebody told me this, because at first I wasn't gonna do it. Somebody was like, yo, EJ, you should sell these pictures. And I was like, ain't nobody gonna buy these pictures. But surprisingly, we had quite a few sales. Yeah. And so if you wanna get those pictures, again, that's at EJ McDuffie Photography.
All right. I'll put all the links and stuff in my description box. But yeah, you can go buy prints, and maybe you can buy something else coming up in the future from the inspiration collection. Be on the lookout.
Yeah, and before we move on to the next topic, we talked about doing an inspiration collection again because people keep asking us about it. So we might have something else cooking up. So, you know, stay tuned,
yeah,
subscribe.
Drop some comments below. What should we do for the inspiration collection part? Duh.
I mean, so we did talk about this already. We won't go into too much detail. Nikea probably told y'all about this a whole bunch. So we saving money to buy a house. That's our ultimate goal. That was the whole reason that we moved to her parents' house.
You know, we moved in July, but we didn't start saving money until January.
Maybe like the end of January,
yeah,
because
we were planning the wedding, so we did have to pay money. We're debt free on that aspect. Hallelujah. But I saw at the beginning of the year like how to save $10,000 in a year or something. So I did that personally and just put that into our joint savings account. And then it got to a point where I was just paying our expenses, or my portion of the expenses, or whatever bills that I typically pay, and I would get paid again. So whatever money from my previous paycheck, I would move that to the savings. So that felt really good to like not know when you got paid. That I want to live that life forever.
Yeah, that is a good feeling. Like, or the feeling of paying your bills and you still got, you know, something with a comma still left in your bank account. You're like, oh, all right, well.
But we set a goal, and we made a chart actually, and we've been filling it up and stuff like that.
All my saved people. It's like a church building fund. When you color up the thermometer.
But ours has actually been moving.
Yeah, it has. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. We can show you the receipts, but we won't. But we could.
That's for another video.
Yeah, so yeah, it's moving on up. And so yeah, we're excited about that.
We are staying in Virginia for another year. So we had only planned to stay for 1 year, and we called it the year of sacrifice. Because boy, was it sacrifice. We did not know that we would be in a pandemic.
Yeah.
We just knew it would be a sacrifice.
And when we say sacrifice, not in a negative connotation, but we moved from a 3 and 2, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, to, now the house is still big, but the space that we live in is like we got 1 bedroom, and then the kids all share a room.
3 of them.
So it's 3 kids in that one room, and then her brother family and our family, we all share 1 bathroom.
Yes, and everybody shares the common space. My dad has most of the basement to himself. I have my little craft room off to the side.
Yeah.
But yeah, all of our stuff is in the garage, and some is in the basement.
Right.
Yeah, because we like sold a lot of furniture.
Yeah,
I mean, try to take as little as possible. So.
Yeah. So that's what I mean, the year of sacrifice. And so
year 2 of sacrifice.
Yeah, we're in year 2 now. Well, what happened was, let's be transparent for a second. So March came and we reached out to realtors in North Carolina. And, you know, we started working with a realtor, started building a relationship. COVID also happened in March. And so the job industry, the job market basically went to crap.
Nobody's trying to hire, period. Because honestly, I've been applying to jobs now, and you can't hear nothing back, good or bad. So. Yeah,
and so the job market is just not there anymore. And so we looked at everything in totality and said, you know what? Let's just stay for another year. It's another opportunity to save money.
Get it right.
To get it right. Because we don't want to get back out there and get into a situation where we were before we came.
Be house poor.
Right. I'm never going to be house poor. Is this camera on me? Look, boy, zoom in. I'm never going to be house poor. I will always be able to afford where I live and furnish where I live and still do whatever else I need to do. Travel, have fun, pay my car note, all of those things. So we want to do it the right way. Let me not say that, because that may be negative towards somebody else. We want to do it the right way for us. What makes sense for us. So we need to do it the right way for us. And so I'm just saying, you know, do what works for you, but for me and my house, yeah, we'll always serve the Lord.
When he said stay another year, I was like, another transparent moment. We actually tried to roll out a couple months ago and just be like, we reached out to some people we know in a certain state. We was like, cool, hey, we just want to get out of here. We done. we just over it.
Yeah,
like,
it did come.
Yep.
Cause you gotta think, you know, it's COVID, and so you're home more. You know,
everybody's home.
Yeah, everybody's home. Everybody work from home except for her brother and her mom. And so you think everybody's there, all the kids are there.
One's in school online.
Right, and then they have a 1-year-old that'll be 2 soon. We have a 3-year-old, and then there's another 4-year-old. And so it's just a lot going on. 2 dogs, everybody home, everybody on top of each other, and so
we don't get breaks from each other anymore.
Right, you know?
Yeah, because we used to go to work, the kids used to go to daycare and school, and the only one that would be home was my sister-in-law because she's a stay-at-home mom, so it'd just be her and the baby for a few hours. But now it's just everybody's home at the same time, and it had got to, we was at our breaking point, and we were gonna be like, peace, but somebody told us, no, you're doing the right thing. Set your stones. Gotta set your stones. You gotta set, hey, that's a message for somebody. You gotta set your stones. No, because we could leave right now and go get an apartment. We could. But that defeats the whole purpose of why we came. Sometimes I still want to. Yeah, you know, it's a thought that crossed our mind. But you know, the other thing that they said was, don't allow these temporary feelings to knock you off your square. You know, you have a goal, you have something that you are reaching for, that you're striving for. So don't let these temporary feelings get you all messed up. And so that's what I keep with me. That helps me get through the day. Because a lot of times I do be like, oh my God, bro, we still here? But don't get knocked off your square and set your stones. Yeah, and it's no knock against her parents, her brother, anybody. Yeah. It's just, we married, we want to have sex. And lots of it. Loud. Now he's got regular Caucasian. Right. Any lessons about communication that we've learned? I've learned, as far as communication, that when EJ talks, I need to respond. I'm still working on it because I like to multitask, but you know, in all actuality, you can't multitask. So I'll be trying to do something, EJ will be talking to me, and then I won't really respond to like, You know, I'm hearing and processing, but I'm not really responding to what he's saying. For me, when I'm communicating, I need to express how I feel without the emotions attached to it, because those emotions may not necessarily be directed toward EJ. And that may be how I feel, but I just need to express how I feel without the emotions attached to it so that my message is heard clearly and effectively. And when we before we got married in our counseling, one thing that I learned that always stuck with me is that you listen to understand. And then when you speak, it's to be understood. So a lot of times people listen and we're already preparing our response in our mind instead of trying to understand what that person is saying. So sometimes when EJ and I are talking, like once that person is finished, we'll say, so what I heard you say was, you speak back to the person what they just said to you, and that lets them know, okay, they heard me, they understood me. Hopefully they did, and if they didn't, then you can kind of correct that in that time. Because Nikea, she'll start talking like this, hey baby, and then I'll be like, what? What'd you say? But I feel like EJ needs to learn that sometimes I don't want to talk right now and just let me have my moment. Nikea be letting little stuff get her off her square. Like Harper will make her upset, and then she take the frustration out on everybody. I'm like, why you not talking? Because I'm upset right now. What they got to do with me? Lisa, that's Harper who made you upset. You letting a 3-year-old ruin your whole day. We've been together for the whole pandemic, and here she go right now. Yeah, move. See? I can't get rid of her. I think that's my only frustration. Nikea will let something else frustrate her. She'll be working on her YouTube and she can't figure something out. And then again, even though she's not taking it out on me, the frustration that she's felt in that moment. Feel the vibe. Yeah, I can feel the vibes. Feel the vibe the island provides. So everybody said that the first year of marriage is tough. I don't think so. I think for us, one thing that the COVID has allowed us to do is stay home and build and spend more time with each other, which I think is very important in the first year of marriage. So that first year is very important, and to spend the quality time that COVID has allowed us to spend together, we've been able to get to know each other on a different level. You know, we've seen a lot of couples getting divorced or
on the brink, right, on the brink of divorce, struggling, upset, complaining about how much time they gotta spend with their spouse. And I think for us, on the other hand, like, we actually like to spend time with each other. I told Nikea this like a couple weeks ago. Like, one of my old coworkers called me and told me, he was like, bro, I need to get away from my partner. And I'm like, yeah, man, I know, bro. They be getting on my nerves. I'm just saying that to be cool. Like, I actually like being around Nikea. I get to keep tabs on her, see what she doing. But yeah, seriously, I like spending time with Nikea. We like watching shows together. We like working on things together. And so yeah, when people say that, I just say what they want to hear. So, you know, we can laugh and chuckle about it together. But you know, COVID has been a blessing in disguise in this regard for our relationship. It's allowed us to spend time together, get to know each other deeply and intimately, not just sex, but just in terms of that quality time, uninterrupted, sitting on the bed just watching a show together. Or I don't read, but Nikea does, so we might just be there.
That's how I get away from him. I read.
She might be reading and I might just be on my phone looking at real estate or watching a YouTube video or something like that.
And the podcast.
Or listening to a podcast or something like that.
Brainwashing me, y'all.
Yeah. So yeah, like, I think that's something in the first year of marriage that I'm very grateful for. I know it's not a communication lesson, but
the first year of marriage is like your foundation. And you know, there's just this rumor, stereotype that the first year of marriage is the hardest. And I feel like it can be, especially when people have busy lives. And you know, we're all trained to be worker bees, so we're trained to work, you know, and a lot of times people buy a house in their first year, some people get pregnant in their first year, you know, and we've done some things out of order, air quotes.
We've been living in sin for a long time.
But living in sin no more. You know, we had a child before marriage, so we know how to maneuver around that, and she don't stop us. We've been out the country twice since then.
Yeah.
You know, but sometimes people aren't afforded that luxury to just move and shake how they want, so I feel like that, you know, becomes issue. And a lot of times people don't have conversations before marriage, so then they get in the marriage.
That's the one right there.
Yeah, and that's where the issues come in. I think we have just been very fortunate, lucky, blessed for this first year. It was easy, like EJ said. And to me, our relationship has always been easy for me. It has always been easy. Like, it's just, oh, this is what it is, you know? And EJ's never made me feel like I can't be who I want to be. And I hope I've never made him feel like he can't be who he wants to be. So we're free to be ourselves together.
Yeah, and I think something that you just said it without saying it. I think those conversations are things that you do in premarital counseling. So we're big advocates of premarital counseling.
But even if you don't go to counseling, just
but sometimes people don't know what conversations to have. So
do a Google search.
Well, yeah, I was about to say, even if you don't go to premarital counseling, at least just have some conversations, at least just topics to kind of at least broach before you, word of the day, shout out to my man Dave, before you get married, or even before you think about getting married. Like, for me, it's never too early. And I've heard somebody else say this, like, you really should be going to premarital counseling before you even think about getting engaged. And I don't know if a lot of places offer it that way, but those are conversations. Yeah, that's true too. You could lie and say, yeah, we're getting married. But those are conversations that you should be having before you even get engaged to a person. Because you don't want to be 6 months into your engagement going to premarital counseling and finances come up and they like, oh no, you ain't gonna be looking at my money. It's my money. I want it now. So if you with somebody who only want 1 kid but you want 3 and y'all haven't really had that conversation or even thought about the conversation because y'all just hot and heavy doing other stuff, or like Nikea said, y'all just working, and you know y'all love each other, but y'all just working, and some of y'all don't have time for some of these conversations. I'm all about having the conversations because it allows you to get to know a person beyond just what you see and what you hear.
But last thing we want to talk about is mind your own marriage. So we're discussing what's worked for us and for our marriage, and we're sharing it, and maybe you can glean something from it, another word of the day, that can help you in your relationship. But at the end of the day, mind your own marriage. And for me, mind your own marriage means do what's best for you and your partner and your relationship, and don't worry about what anybody else is doing. Or if you see something that somebody else is doing and you don't like it, hey, you don't like it, but that's not your business. That's not your marriage. Mind yours. Like with the whole Jada and Will and August Alsina entanglement, a lot of people are like, I would never, I wouldn't do that. I can't believe you're not them. Mind your own marriage.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people say what they wouldn't do or what they not gonna do and all this other stuff, but you just haven't been in that situation before. I used to say all the time that I would never marry a person that had a kid, but how am I gonna put that standard on somebody when I had a kid myself? To Nikea's point, you know, never say never and do what works best for you, because at the end of the day, it's your marriage and you are responsible. You're gonna have to answer to whoever you believe in as a higher calling when it comes to your partner.
I will drop the link for this shirt in the description box if y'all would like to purchase. It's a whole brand, Mind Your Own Marriage.
It's a movement.
You can purchase sweatshirts, hoodies. It's pretty new, but you know, get on this wave. We stand by this, we believe in it, and we hope that you will too.
Yeah.
But that is it for today's video, beauties. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. But before you go, make sure you go down below, click that subscribe button, and right next to that, click that bell notification button so that you never miss when I post. Like I always say, it's free, it's easy, and it's fun. I'll be sure to see you in the next one. Bye.
No comparison. No.